What's up, everybody? Day 2 quarantine cooks. Day 2 for real this time. Coming at you live from my kitchen because that's the only place I'm allowed to be right now. Thought about changing the name, but it seems pretty time appropriate, so I'm going to keep it as is for now. And if I keep doing this, then maybe we'll look at changing the name once all this passes over. Real quick, just want to say thanks to everybody for all the love on my first video. There's nothing more motivating than the support of your friends, so I'm definitely going to keep doing this for a bit. And that's it. So we'll get right into it. Today we're going to do a spatchcock chicken and some smashed potatoes. Spatchcock chicken's just like a butterfly chicken, but why say butterfly when you can say spatchcock? So we're going to do that. Super easy. And the nice thing about this recipe is the potatoes and the chicken both cook at the same temp. So as long as your time management isn't shit, everything should come out at the same time and supper should be good to go, not at 10 p.m. So let's do it. We'll get right into it and we'll take it from there.
First things first, let's get these potatoes in a pot covered with cold water with a lot of kosher salt. By putting them in cold water instead of dropping them in boiling water, it will just let everything come up to temperature at the same time and the potatoes will cook through more evenly. Just cook these until they're easily pierced with a paring knife. I'm going to cook this chicken in a 12-inch cast iron skillet. The only reason I'm doing it this way is so we can make an awesome white wine pan sauce at the end with the chicken drippings and the crispy brown bits stuck to the pan. If you don't have a cast iron skillet, cooking this on a cookie sheet works just as well. Okay, why spatchcock? Chickens are kind of a fucked up ball shape, so it's really difficult to cook the thighs and the legs all the way through without overcooking the breast. By taking out the spine and being able to lay it flat, everything magically finishes at the same time and the chicken is super juicy. So all you have to do is grab your kitchen shears and snip along both sides of the spine. Make sure you don't throw this out. We can put this in a Ziploc bag in the freezer and make a broth out of it. That might actually be a good idea for another quarantine cooks video. I'm going to snip off the wingtips as well and put those in my stock bag. Those are pretty much just pure cartilage and not good for anything else. Okay, so put a snip like right here. That's just going to make the breastbone easier to crack. Then flip it over and put 2 hands in the middle and just push down and you'll hear and feel the breastbone crack. This will let the chicken sit nice and flat against our pan. Then just grab some paper towel and pat this thing dry. Moisture is the enemy to crispy chicken skin, so the drier you can get this thing, the crispier it'll be. Then we're just going to come in and season both sides with kosher salt and fresh cracked black pepper. Once you've seasoned your chicken, pull all the skin nice and tight, and it should look kind of like this. This can now go into a 450-degree Fahrenheit oven, and it'll take 45 minutes to cook. So while the chicken's cooking, we can get a couple things prepped quick for our potatoes. First thing I did was just wrap this sheet tray in tin foil. This will just make cleanup a bit easier. Then I'm going to take some garlic, about 1 or 2 cloves per potato, and those are just going to roast on top of them and add some subtle flavor. Now we're going to bring some fresh herbs to the party. I've got some parsley and rosemary here. You could definitely just finely chop these and sprinkle them on top with some olive oil, but I've got a bougie cooking show now, so I'm going to be a bit extra and grind them up in the mortar and pestle and just make a nice herb oil to drizzle over the potatoes as they roast. So just work this until they kind of come together into a little paste. Then I'm just going to drizzle in some nice olive oil and hit it with some salt and pepper. Then you've got this nice herb oil to use however you like. The potatoes are done boiling now, and the chicken has been in the oven for about 8 minutes. Grab your potatoes, throw them on a baking sheet, and we're just going to smash them down. You can see the one potato completely fell apart on me. I honestly don't know if this is overcooked or if it's undercooked, but either way it's going to finish up nice in the oven. The right way to do this though is definitely to get a second sheet tray that's the same size and just put it on top and push down so they all smash the same way. Don't use a goddamn spoon. Once your potatoes are smashed, come in with your fresh herbs or your herb oil and just drizzle this all over the potatoes. If you're going with the chopped herb route, then you're just going to want to come in with a drizzle of olive oil afterwards to help with browning in the oven. I'm actually going to do this too because there's nothing better than a crispy potato. Then these just go into the same 450-degree oven with... Ah shit, I forgot my garlic. Okay, throw those on top and then just toss this back in the oven. Okay, so the chicken's done now and we have this beautifully crispy skin. Just set this guy off to the side and let it rest for a couple minutes, and we'll make our pan sauce. Okay, so this skillet's still hot as fuck because it just spent 45 minutes in the oven, so be careful here. But all you're going to do is take some white wine and toss it into your skillet. I don't know how much, maybe like a cup or so. Then just whisk that up, making sure you scrape up all those chicken bits from the bottom of the pan. That's where all the flavor is. Then you're just going to reduce this down, cooking out the alcohol for a couple minutes. Once it's reduced by about half, come in with some broth, again about a cup and a half or so. I'm just eyeballing this, I don't really know how much I used. And then just whisk that all together. Okay, I'm going to throw in a little cornstarch slurry. It's just a teaspoon of cornstarch mixed with enough cold water to dissolve it. This is just going to help thicken the sauce. Truthfully, you don't really need this, but I just kind of like a thicker sauce. Make sure that you don't add your cornstarch directly to the pan. When you add it to something hot, it'll just clump up and you'll never get the clumps out. So mix it in with some cold water first and you won't have any issues. Reduce this all down by about half again. Then we'll just finish the sauce with a couple pats of butter. Ideally, you'd have some kind of acid laying around, like a lemon, to add some brightness to the sauce. All I've got right now is a lime, and I had to decide if it's going in this sauce or in a vodka later, and well, decisions were made. Spatchcock.